They're not good enough to start. They're not even good enough to play. But they do talk a good game. So come join Lou and Jose from the sidelines where all the best sports discussions happen anyway. Welcome in to the Benchwarmerz podcast.
Welcome into the program, everybody. I am Lou Ruggieri. That is Jose Ortiz. And this is Benchwarmerz podcast. Wherever, whenever, and however you happen to be listening, we appreciate taking some time to spend it with us. Touched on the top 5 news stories in the NFL in hour 1. We went through all the various playoff scenarios and how and what the likelihood is of teams getting into the playoffs for the NFL. We played the extra point, our one-sentence recap takeaway of every game in the NFL for Week 16, highlight, lowlight, and our moral lesson of the week, which I believe was Thomas Edison. So you can find that if you want to kind of go back and listen. The iHeartRadio podcasting app, we are a proud member of, along with the Amazon podcasts, newly formed Amazon podcasts. And then basically you can find us anywhere you get your podcast. If you're listening to this, obviously you've figured out how to find us. Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, all that, at the Benchwarmerz podcast on Instagram, the Benchwarmerz podcast on Facebook, YouTube. The Benchwarmerz podcast at yahoo.com is our email if you want to send us some love mail, hate mail. Coming up in a little bit, we have to make our Week 17 picks, look back on our Week 16 picks and see how we did. Our money bet, put your money where your mouth is, that Jose, you actually put money on last week, so we'll get to your result on that in a bit. But first, we have to touch, it's the NBA season, and we have some stuff to talk about. We have a lot to talk about, actually, so we'll try to keep it concise. Some news stories in the NBA this week. It's a little different than the NFL, so these are going to be kind of more overarching ideas and things because it's early in the season, and the season obviously a lot longer than the NFL, so we're transitioning just like everyone else. So top 3 news stories and, just your opinion off these right off the bat. And then we have a highlight and low light of the week and what we're watching for. Story number 1, early season hot starts that are kind of surprising. Cleveland, Indiana, Orlando, and Atlanta are all off to 3-0 starts. Which one of these, if any, is the most surprising, and which one's the least surprising?
Well, I'm most impressed or most surprised with the Atlanta Hawks, third-year head coach, and they also have a third-year budding star in Trae Young. I'm wondering if he's poised to take what I'm going to call the Luka leap, where you go from a good player in 1 year to an unbelievably great player in the next year. He's, through 3 games, he's averaging, shooting 53% from the field, 42.1 from 3, and averaging over 34 points per game. I'm also, I guess I'm least surprised by the Pacers. We saw that they were a decent team last year, and they got a nice win over the Celtics a couple days ago. And they could be an underrated team. So I guess those are probably the 2 teams that stood out to me. Hawks and
I think the Hawks with Trae Young, like you said, is the least surprising because Trae Young's averaging 34 points a game. I mean, it's just stupid. He's just going off. I guess I'm also surprised. I'm most surprised maybe by the Cavaliers. You sort of forget that they're still a team, and they were the Cavaliers for so long, and they were just the worst, the punchline, and then they became the top of the mountaintop, and they've been tumbling down ever since. They lost to the Knicks tonight, and that should give you a pretty good idea of where the Cavs are. So that 3-0 start is...
Can't believe someone actually lost to the Knicks. Okay.
Yeah, all that's right. Done. Yeah, exactly.
All right.
So story number 2, conversely, early season struggles. Toronto 0-2. Washington Wizards 0-3. Houston 0-2. Dallas 1-2. Most surprising, least surprising.
Least surprising is Washington.
I agree.
They listen. Part of the reason why I didn't like the Russell Westbrook trade, and I know that I was looking further into the trade, and they only gave up the first round picks now till 2023, and it's lottery protected and all that good stuff. But you basically gave up a draft asset to be just as bad as you were. That's why I thought they were the clear loser in the trade, because it's like, now this is, I guess it is disrespectful to Russell Westbrook in a way, but I just don't consider him an alpha, like a main guy on a winning team. He's not a number 1 guy on a winning team, and I'm not sure that he's number 2 guy on a winning team.
Yeah, he doesn't make teams better. He makes himself better.
Yeah, he's a good player. He He's certainly athletic. He's capable, but I'd be much more confident with him if he was the number 2 or 3 guy on a team that had like Kevin Durant or LeBron James. Like a team, I know that he used to be the number 2 guy on a team that had Kevin Durant, and they had a lot of success. They didn't win the championship, but they had a lot of success. So either way, Washington. I just think they're going to be bad this year anyway. So you may as well have just kept your draft pick and been bad with John Wall. As far as the team that is most surprising, I guess it's the Dallas Mavericks. I mean, 1-2 start. It's when they were 0-2, I was getting worried, and they destroyed the Clippers. So I guess it's still a young season, but I guess that would probably be my most surprising.
Yeah, most surprising for me is definitely Dallas Mavericks. I mean, it's early. They're still kind of figuring out who they are, but that actually leads into. I'll get to my highlight in a second. Actually, the Dallas game is where my low light came from earlier this week. But least surprising, I think, to me, aside from Washington, has got to be Houston Rockets. I mean, James Harden, instead of raining 3-pointers, is making it rain in other ways at strip clubs. And so it's that team is just they should just not play. I really think that James Harden wants to be out of there. They got rid of Mike D'Antoni. It just feels the John Wall trade feels it just feels awkward. Like it just feels kind of square peg round hole. Like you said, I really don't think either team really won in that trade between Washington and Houston. It just feels like they kind of just here you go. You want this guy? I guess. You want this guy? All right. And it doesn't surprise me that they're 0-2, and I think they're going to be the worst they've been in a long time.
Yeah, I agree with everything you say. I don't have a ton to add. Just really disappointed in James Harden with the being photographed, maskless. Yeah,
which is our third news story, actually. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought we had already gotten into that. So yeah, you're right. You're talking about Houston, and maybe just jump into to James.
Well, that was the segue. That's what we do in business.
So
James Harden drama is our third story of the week. He was rumored to be maskless at a strip club. He says it wasn't a strip club. The Houston Rockets in general are going through COVID issues on top of everything. Maybe they got it from somebody at the strip club. Maybe, I don't know, James. They just feel like they're a rolling disaster, and it's not going to get better.
And the thing that's really, I think probably the reason why they haven't traded James Harden is they want a king's ransom. Right, you don't trade a guy who's won 3 consecutive, or is it 4 consecutive scoring titles? Basically perennially averaging over 30 points a game for the last few years. You don't just trade him for a bag of peanuts. And a lot of teams are like, well, why am I going to trade for him? He doesn't want to be there, so I'll just wait for him to become a free agent or whatever the case may be. And so it kind of puts them in a tough spot. He has certain spots that he only wants to go. The Rockets want to get their own package. All that is to say is, the Rockets are going to be a dumpster fire this year. I think it's good that they at least got a draft pick back out of the Russell Westbrook deal, because I think they would have been a dumpster fire with Russell Westbrook there too. So at least you get a draft pick.
Yeah, I think the James Harden thing should be. I mean, the way that they're going to win this is if they get sort of a Herschel Walker deal out of it, where they just get a boatload of draft picks. But that's going to take a team that has draft picks to give, it also has to be a very specific set of circumstances, because James Harden, while his numeric production has been off the charts, his success rate has not, and that's the thing. While it's fun to have somebody who scores a lot, it's more fun to win. And if it's just going to be a team that is willing to give up a bunch of money in draft picks for a guy that's, kind of heading into the back end of his prime. I mean, the Knicks fit that mold perfectly. I mean, how many aging superstars have they signed kind of past their peak? It
would be great for them to sign him, honestly. They just need something there with the Knicks, but yeah. No,
but James Harden isn't going to go there, and I don't think he can't go to Brooklyn because he won't fit in with those guys. I don't think that the Bucks gave up and mortgaged their entire future for Drew Holiday.
Yeah.
And it's, they don't have anything else to give up for James Harden. I think Miami, the Rockets, I think, wanted Bam Adebayo for the most part in that trade, and they're not going to give that up. Maybe the Sixers, but then what do the Sixers do? The Sixers are going to give up, Ben Simmons for James Harden or Joel Embiid. I mean, what are they? If they could flip Tobias Harris to the to the Rockets, then I would take that with some.
There was a rumor. I'm not sure if what you would think about this. There was a rumor that the Nuggets were asked to trade. They were talking with the Rockets about trading for James Harden.
Yeah,
but the Rockets wanted Michael Porter Jr. In exchange, and when I saw that, I was like, I would have made that trade in a heartbeat. Like, okay, I'll take James Harden, and you take Michael Porter Jr. I don't know what else. Maybe there were other parts of it, but there are some teams that I think if you dangle the right young player in front of them plus a draft pick, at this point they just want to get out of this and just kind of start over, I think. And as far as just the James Harden thing, really quickly, with the being photographed maskless at a strip club, I don't really care that it was at a strip club. It could have been at Burger King. Like, you're at this point. And I know it's annoying. I know it's frustrating with all the mask stuff. But it's one thing if you're just some guy working at Walmart who goes someplace and doesn't wear a mask. It's another thing when you're part of a multi-billion-dollar corporation where you a couple of positive COVID tests could really upend the season. And you got to be smarter than this. You just have to be.
Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly. I mean, I think that you're the not only on this billion-dollar franchise, you're the face of the franchise.
Yeah,
you have to know. I mean, it's 2020. There's not a person on earth that isn't aware of COVID, and there's not a person on earth that isn't aware that you can be seen and photographed pretty much anywhere there's one more person around, and sometimes not even that. So it just seems kind of reckless and stupid. Yes, it just seems kind of foolish, and maybe it wasn't intentional. I don't want to think that it was intentional, but you have to know if you're in a public place, you're being watched, you're being judged, you're being evaluated, and that's part of the public persona. I mean, that comes with the territory. And James Harden's not a rookie. This isn't Zion Williamson. It's James Harden. James Harden's been in the league a long time, and he's been in the spotlight a long time. So it's very poor judgment, and it's.
He's also so recognizable. Right. This is not. I'm trying to think of like this is not Eric Gordon or someone like some side player on the Rockets. This is the man, one of the most recognizable players in the NBA, maybe in all of North American sports.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I agree, and I think that I agree. The Michael Porter Jr. trade, I would have jumped on that in a heartbeat. And if you're getting to keep your other two superstars and you're giving up kind of your possibly third option, maybe. I would absolutely.
There must have been something to that story that wasn't reported.
But just imagine having a guy like Jokic in the middle that can dish to James Harden. I mean, that's, and then you have another offensive weapon, Jamal Murray, on the other side of Harden. I mean, that could be really dangerous, especially in the West.
That could be a super team right there.
Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly what the Nuggets are missing. And you're trading what you hope Michael Porter Jr. could be for the best possible outcome.
Yeah.
Right now. I mean, that you take that and run with it. Jeez.
There must have been either something I missed in the story, or it happened a few weeks ago where they were shopping. I was like, why would you not have taken this trade immediately? Yeah. And unless Michael Porter Jr. is going to turn into a Hall of Famer this season. So we'll see.
He's not, but yeah, it's possible. So, all right, I want to get to your highlight. Let's do a highlight and low light of the week. I don't know if you want to go first.
Yeah, I'll just throw out my highlight of the week. I'm going to do my best to try and point out people that we don't normally talk about all the time. Brandon Ingram from the New Orleans Pelicans. He might be the next great player that we start talking about this season. He was the most improved player a couple of years ago. And he was also Western Conference Player of the Week this past week through 3 games. He's averaging 26.7 points per game, 7.3 rebounds, 6.7 assists. He's a really, really good player that took a few years to develop. And I'm not sure, the Lakers traded him to get Anthony Davis. I'm sure they're very happy about that. But it's one of those trades that look like a win-win.
I would agree. I mean, you think of the Lakers and what they could have been, but obviously the trade that they made, I feel like that's both teams are winning right now. And Anthony Davis, I don't think Anthony Davis and Zion could coexist on the same team.
Interesting.
But Ingram he looks good. I mean, he does. He looks good, and he's progressing nicely. And I thought that Kyle Kuzma was the better of the two between those two, but I might be wrong. I don't know. It's interesting. My highlight of the week, actually, is Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant became the 9th fastest player in NBA history to score 23,000 points. He did it in 852 games. And I have a list of the top 10 scorers, the top 10 fastest to 23,000 points. And I'd like, if you can, do you think you can guess some of them? You don't have to guess all of them.
So Wilt Chamberlain.
He's number one. So just for perspective, just for context, Kevin Durant took 852 games to score 23,000 points. Wilt Chamberlain did it in 606.
Yeah, I knew it was going to be something stupid. I knew it was going to be something stupid.
Like 250 games faster. So
okay, so Wilt Chamberlain
is number one. Yeah.
Michael Jordan.
Michael Jordan is number 2, 717 games to score 23,000 points.
So,
those are the easy ones.
Yeah, those are the 2 easy ones. Okay, so what about Rick Barry?
No, not in the top 10.
Okay, I thought maybe he would be.
There are some players that are sort of in that era.
Yeah,
on the list.
What about Kobe Bryant?
Nope, not top 10.
Okay, Elgin Baylor.
Yes, actually, Elgin Baylor is. I can't do numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He's 7th.
Allen Iverson.
Iverson is 5th.
Yeah, I had a feeling he'd be on there.
830 games.
Just because he averaged 24 points a game in his rookie season. I just remember that so clearly.
Yep.
Shaquille O'Neal?
Shaquille O'Neal is number 10, actually.
Oh, right.
Yep. So he's right after. That's who Kevin Durant just
now
passed.
It's starting to get kind of like, okay, who got off to like really hot early scoring in their career?
Most of the guys.
LeBron James.
I was going to say, there's one guy you're missing who's obvious. Yep. LeBron James is right ahead of Kevin Durant. 837 games to Kevin Durant's 852. The other guys are all older.
Bill Walton?
Nope.
Okay.
Very.
Jerry West.
Jerry West is, yes. He's number 6, 833 games. Good.
I have
There's
no guesses.
all right. So one guy.
Oh, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Yep. 4th. Yep. 809 games. Surprisingly, and I'll give you this one to you. So Wilt Chamberlain was 1. Michael Jordan was 2. Oscar Robertson, number 3, 806 games, actually faster to 23,000 points than Kareem, which is crazy.
Oscar, yeah.
Then we have Kareem, then Allen Iverson 5, Jerry West 6, Elgin Baylor 7, LeBron James 8, and then Kevin Durant 9, Shaq 10.
Okay.
So yeah, pretty interesting. It's just, and that was my highlight of the week is that Kevin Durant, when he's playing, I think he's been overshadowed by LeBron for a lot of reasons, most notably just sort of durability, I guess. Kevin Durant kind of blinked out of the spotlight for 2 years. But when he's on, Kevin Durant can be the best player in the league. He is unbelievable. And I am so happy that he's back. And, I think when it's all said and done, Kevin Durant might crack that all-time top 10 list of NBA players.
I think he might already be there right now, but yeah, I mean, I'd have to really think about it. Absolutely. Right. I think by the time he retires, it almost will be unquestionable that assuming he has 2 to 3 years left, if not, at minimum. What I always remember about Kevin Durant is, I don't remember the year it was, but when the draft, when it was him and Greg Oden, and everyone was like, oh, Greg Oden's number 1 pick. And I remember watching him in college, I was like, how on earth is everyone saying that Greg Oden is the number 1 pick? And I don't want to be like making it seem like, revisionist history. I swear on everything that's what I was saying. I just watching it, like, I don't understand how anyone could look at these 2 players and say that Greg Oden is the number 1 pick. And I can't even imagine where the Trailblazers would be right now had they drafted Kevin Durant instead of Greg Oden.
Yeah, it's a shame. All right, your low light of the week, please.
I'm going to focus on the Warriors and Steph Curry. The Warriors are off to a slow start, and I want to be nice to them because he is coming off of a long injury, but losses to Brooklyn and Milwaukee to start the season. Curry just shooting 38% from the field, 25.7% from from behind the 3-point line. They need him to be MVP Steph this year, and he's not playing that way through 3 games. So.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. And again, I think that whole situation just without Klay Thompson, I was really looking forward to seeing the Warriors kind of at full strength to taking on the Lakers and some of the more prominent teams in the West this past season. Most notably the Lakers, I think, would have been the best matchup. I think the Nuggets would have been interesting. The Blazers too, but Lakers, Warriors at full strength each, I think would have been something to really pay attention to. So
especially Warriors against LeBron again, like in a different uniform. Like how that would have been such
like, hey, I have Anthony Davis instead of Matthew Dellavedova. What's up? Let's try this again. So yeah, I agree. That's kind of bad. My low light of the week actually stays in LA. I think this was on Monday. I think the Mavericks destroyed the Clippers. The Clippers were down 50 points at halftime. It's the biggest halftime deficit in NBA history.
Were they without Kawhi Leonard at the
Kawhi Leonard did not play.
Okay.
And pathetic Paul showed up and had 2 rebounds, 4 assists, and 15 points.
That's the best one. I'm sorry. That's the best one so far. We've got to start an alliteration campaign now. Like anything with a P and see what we can do. Okay.
But this game, I mean, it didn't get better. I mean, they lost by 50 points. It was 124-73 at the end of the game. So it's not like they made up ground. And Paul George tried to downplay it and say, it's not that big of a deal. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. You're without your best player, Paul. You're the man now. Like Scottie Pippen was able to win some games without Michael Jordan. You, Paul George, need to step up and earn that money that you were paid. And it's not happening. And it was, laughable is being nice. 50 points. 50. How do you not go into halftime and go, oh my God, guys, what are we, like, wake up?
I will say this. You're down 50 points at halftime. That game is over.
It is. Don't you want to save face? I mean, you have to go out and say, guys, we have to, come on. We got to, we can't lose by 50 points. That's just an atrocity.
Yeah, the funny thing is, literally, I in my notebook, I'm writing down, Dallas Mavericks are going to be my low light of the week. And then they destroy the Clippers. The Clippers were off to a 2-0 start to start the season. So, Clippers are looking
beat the Lakers. Good. Uh-oh.
And then, wow. I'm giving the Lakers, Celtics, Heat, and Nuggets a little bit of an early season, kind of giving them benefit of the doubt early season because they did play late. I mean, they just, when was the NBA Finals? Like in July, like something like that, August?
Yeah, I think it was July.
And now they're just back and normally they have like a 5 to 6 month break, and they're back in like 2 months. So,
my boy Luka Doncic, MVP this year, 24 points, 9 rebounds, 8 assists, starting off strong. They played well, I think. And Tim Hardaway, by the way, that you were saying was average or below average last week, 18 points, not bad.
Okay, not bad. Very average.
Yeah,
18 points. Okay, great. Show me 28 points.
All right, we'll see next game. I think that they were trying to spread the love around. So that's my low light is the Paul George and the Clippers just just go home. Stop it. All right. What are you watching for this week? What's on the anything you're paying attention to more specifically?
Well, yeah, I mean, now that you mentioned the Mavericks, I'm actually on New Year's Day. I'm actually making an appointment with myself to watch the Heat and the Mavericks because it just looks like a good game. I think that the Heat maybe were a bit of a Cinderella team last year, but I'm not sure. The Mavericks, I think they have potential, but I'm like, okay, well, who else? Who's going to be the number 2 guy behind Luka? So I'm just very interested to watch this game.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's going to be an awesome New Year's Day. I mean, there's a bunch of bowl games. There's a couple playoff games on, but yeah, I think in terms of NBA, it's going to be
I can't say
pretty.
It's a side note.
I wanted to play a game this week, but we don't really talk about college football too much. But maybe we'll play it next week. It was going to be a bowl game or fake bowl game. And I'm just going to read off some of the...
That's a fun game. Let's absolutely 100% do that next week.
I know. I didn't have time to creatively come up with some... Because if you look at some of the names, they're so goofy, some of the sponsors. And it's hilarious that you really can't tell. But maybe we'll try to do that.
I don't want to go on a tangent here, but now that we're talking about bowl games, does anyone care about any of the other bowl games outside of the main like 2 or 3. Like, it just seems like glorified consolation games. Why don't you just play a 13-game season? Just add an extra game to the season if you want to play another game. I don't understand.
Yeah,
I mean, the Sun Bowl. Oh yeah, great deal. I'm gonna hang that in the rafters.
Well, without going off on too much of a tangent, I think that the bowl games can still be. You can still have the Rose Bowl and the Sugar Bowl and whatever bowl and the Outback Bowl and whatever, but they can be in the course of a playoff.
Yeah.
The second round of the playoff can be all Rose Bowls. Have everybody have whatever. It's just these 4 teams, like, we could have predicted this in the beginning of the season, and so that's not a lot of fun. Like, we knew Alabama and Clemson were going to be right there. We kind of figured Ohio State, if they were playing, was going to be right there. Notre Dame's a little bit of the wild card, but you could still make a reasonable assumption that they probably would have been there. But either way, we can talk more about that next week with that. I'm watching the Lakers. I want to see if they can continue this. I mean, they're playing the Spurs, so that's not a great game. They don't have a great schedule coming up. The Bulls, I'd like to see them beat down the Rockets a little bit later in January. That'd be fun. But I just want to see the chemistry on the Lakers between, obviously LeBron and Anthony Davis, but then some of the new additions, Montrezl Harrell getting there, it feels like that they have a chance to be even better this year.
Absolutely.
And I want to see, I want to pay more attention to the process of getting to the finals if they get that far, which they probably will. So yeah. All right. That'll do it for this little NBA snippet. We'll get more into NBA as the weeks go on and the season goes on, but we have to stick to the NFL because the NFL is what pays the bills. So we're going to take a break. We're going to come back. We have to review our Week 16 picks, and then we have to make some Week 17 picks. So we'll have that and a little bit more right after this on the Benchwarmerz podcast.
If you're sick with COVID-19 or think you might have it, take steps to help protect other people from getting sick. Stay home except to get medical care. Call the doctor before visiting. Separate yourself from others who live with you. Wear a cloth face covering to protect others. Cover your coughs and sneezes with a tissue and clean your hands right away. Avoid sharing items with other people in your home. This includes things like towels and bedding. Be sure dishes are washed in hot water or the dishwasher before anyone else uses them. Stay aware of how you feel. If you start to have difficulty breathing or if you're worried about your health, call your doctor. For more tips, visit cdc.gov.
And now back to the Benchwarmers podcast with Lou and Jose.
Welcome back to the program, everybody. I am still Lou Ruggieri, and that is still Jose Ortiz, and this is still the Benchwarmers podcast. It's been a fun show thus far. It's flown by, as most of these do. We kind of just get in the rhythm and we get going. So we're in the fourth quarter of the show right now. Touched on a whole litany of things. A lot of NFL first hour, actually all NFL first hour. Top 5 news stories. We played the Extra Point, which is our one-sentence recap of every game in the NFL this week. Went over all of the various playoff scenarios going into Week 17. You can find that if you want to go back and listen. The Benchwarmers podcast is on Amazon Podcasts and iHeartRadio, very proudly. So you can find us there, anywhere else you find your podcasts. At top of this hour, we touched on some NBA, and we kind of got into a little impromptu college football talk, which is kind of surprising because we don't talk a lot of college sports. But I think we'll touch on that next week because we got the big, the Final Four playoff. And honestly, at this point, this is when I think most people start watching, and this, it has draft implications for the NFL. So, I mean, even if you're looking at it as, we're being NFL scouts, I'm in, so we can talk a little college and kind of give some overviews. We're not going to pretend like we're experts in college football, but we know what we see, and we're pretty good at that. So, speaking of pretty good, we have been pretty good with our bets this week. Our bets and our picks, for the most part. I think we both covered this week, didn't we? In our Put Your Money Where Your Mouth Is.
No, you did not cover. Because the Eagles, you had the Eagles -2 versus the Cowboys.
That's right. And the
Cowboys found a way to win.
Decided to show up for a game.
So I had the Bengals +9 versus the Texans.
There you go.
Actually, it was the first time that I took the points. I believe it was the first time all season that I took the points. And I felt so confident in this pick as the week went on. Normally it's the other way around.
Yeah.
Normally I was like, what am I doing? But this time I felt so confident that I decided to go on MGM and bet $50 on the Bengals covering.
Look at you.
And I know. It was surprising. And I won $47.
Nice.
Because I don't know why I didn't win 50. I was pretty annoyed with that, but it's fine.
A service fee or something, yeah.
Kind of fine. It's whatever. But yeah, I won $47. So I'm feeling good. I'm still gonna lose to you and put your money where your mouth is. So I have won the battle, but I have lost the war. So yeah, my pick this week, I'm taking the Saints minus 6.5 against the Panthers, and I think I might do the same thing. Maybe not put $50, but yeah, I'll put some money on the Saints, I think.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty good bet. I mean, it's divisional, but it seems the Saints should win that game pretty handily. The Panthers look good against the Redskins or the Washington football team, excuse me. But yeah, the Saints are a much different category class of team. I don't think that they're going to be resting anybody because they still have to fight for that number one spot. So yeah,
they have a chance. They have a chance.
They should be putting the pedal to the metal. I, despite having just said that you have to be careful with division games, am going to take the Falcons. They're getting 6.5 points at the Buccaneers, and I know the Buccaneers just obliterated the Detroit Lions, but I'd like to point out that they are the Detroit Lions. Yeah. I think that the Falcons seem to have this sort of inverse relationship with games. Like they lose to bad teams and they almost beat good teams. So I think getting almost a touchdown against the Bucs, I think that they're gonna come out and play hard. I don't think they're gonna win, but I think they're gonna keep it close because that team is pretty good. I mean, Hayden Hurst is good. Calvin Ridley, I think Calvin Ridley might now be the best receiver on the Falcons. I know Julio Jones is hurt, but even at full strength, I think, he's kind of at the twilight of his career, and Calvin Ridley is unbelievable.
Yeah, Calvin Ridley is great. One thing I'll say about the Falcons, too, is, they're all playing for their maybe not their careers, but for their next contracts.
Yeah.
Or at least, if you're evaluating the Falcons right now, if you're a person who's in that position, you're looking at all these players like who don't we need? Who can we get rid of? So if you want to stay,
if you're Kyle Shanahan, you're watching Matt Ryan and going, maybe we could use him.
Oh my God, please. Please. And I want Julio Jones too. I want them both. Okay.
That would be unbelievable. But John Lynch, I mean, if he's pulled off some crazy trades in the past, I mean, he's got that Jerry West, Danny Ainge kind of feel to him where he just makes things happen.
So I hope so. I don't think he's at that level yet. We'll see. I hope so.
He's getting there.
All right. So now that we have our week, so you won, put your money where your mouth is, and I am in a position. I have a 4-game lead in our weekly pick with no spread. Now, what I've done this week, since it's week 17, I'm going to read off the games, and I'm going to give you my pick first.
All right.
On every game.
Okay.
So this way, anyone who's listening can't be like, oh, well, Jose is just picking exactly what Lou picks, so that way he can't win.
I appreciate giving us a sporting chance here. Yeah.
We don't play that way. We play with honor and integrity here. All right.
I am going to be contrarian just to try to catch up a little bit.
Of course. Yeah. You probably should just pick the opposite of every game I pick. Which you do. But no. So just to give you, I went 10-6 last week. You went 9-7.
Damn it. And I switched because I originally picked the Cardinals, right?
Yeah.
Or no, I picked the 49ers.
You picked the 49ers and then you switched to the Cardinals. We both picked both picked Washington. We both picked the Eagles. We both picked. You picked the Rams. I took the Seahawks. I took the Colts. You took the Steelers. So you got that one. Then it was really the 49ers and the Cardinals because that tied it back up after I lost the Colts Steelers. And then the only other game we were different on was the Seahawks Rams. And then we both missed on a lot of other, we both missed on the Browns, both missed on the Texans. There was a lot of whiffs. So I'm going to go ahead. So I'm 148, 67-1. You are 144, 71-1. You need 5 wins, 5 games to beat me, 4 games to tie, which of course the official tiebreaker will probably be a rock, paper, scissors.
As are all good tiebreakers.
All right. Falcons at Bucks. I have taken the Bucks.
Yeah, you got to take the Bucks.
Okay. And we'll review these afterwards. So if you feel like, hey, I don't have different, All right. Cowboys at Giants. I have taken the Cowboys.
Oh, man. At the Giants?
At the Giants.
I don't know. Genuinely,
It's a tough one.
give me the Giants.
I feel like in these toss-up games, you may as well just take the opposite team.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm giving you a gift on this one. Because we're best friends. We have the same birthday. Jets at Patriots. I am taking the Jets.
Are you really?
Yep.
Oh boy, that's bad. I guess I'll take the Patriots, but that's.
I don't even know. Literally, I was like, I have no idea who to pick
against the Bills. I mean, the Patriots looked
so bad.
I mean, they look like the worst team in the league. They don't. There's not one position that you're like, oh, they're pretty good. James White, maybe. I mean, is James White the best player on the Patriots right now on offense?
Yeah, I mean,
that's playing. Really, I mean, Julian Edelman, I would say, but he's hurt.
Was it Demir Bird or something like, or so they only have like another player? But yeah, no, you're probably right. I mean,
Sony Michel? No, can't.
Can it be? Yeah, that's wow. Talk about a team that needs to make some changes.
It's not N'Keal Harry. It's not Cam Newton.
Yeah, wow. I mean, you said on offense too, right? Because I was like, it's Stephon Gilmore, but he's actually out for the season anyway.
Jackson, their other cornerback, is probably the best player on the team right now. Or maybe Winovich. He's pretty good too. I don't know. Either way.
Rex Burkhead might be the best player, but that's really
sad. But he's hurt, isn't he?
He's hurt. Yeah, that's right.
James White. There it is.
James White. All right, here it is.
All right, give me the Patriots, but I'm hoping that Belichick comes up with some Belichick magic.
Thinking the Vikings at the Lions. I have the Vikings.
Yeah, you got to take the Vikings. Lions are just. I mean, the Lions just. Their season has been over. They just forgot to show up against them. Well, maybe they got embarrassed on. No, I'm sticking with the Vikings.
Like I said, we can go back through and make some adjustments.
Yeah.
Steelers at Browns. I have taken the Browns.
Browns, yep.
Ravens at Bengals. I have taken the Ravens.
Yeah, they got to go with Ravens.
Dolphins at Bills. I have taken the Bills.
Oh, boy. I mean, the Bills seem like they're going to win, but they have less to play for. The Dolphins have to win this game.
Both, yeah, true.
Give me the Dolphins. I'll take the Dolphins for now. I'm glad that we're reviewing these because I might change my mind. But give me the Dolphins for now.
All right. Seahawks at the 49ers. I have taken the Seahawks.
Yeah. But
I am nervous about this.
I mean, the Niners just beat the Cardinals.
Yeah.
The Seahawks barely beat. Well, I guess they didn't barely beat the Rams, but they edged out the Rams. I'll stick with the Seahawks, I guess.
All right. Cardinals at the Rams. I have taken the Cardinals.
Cardinals. Yeah, you have to go Cardinals. They have to win.
Jaguars at the Colts. I have taken the Colts.
Yep, give me the Colts. I'd love to see a repeat of Week 1, but it's not going to happen.
Sure, the Browns would too.
Yeah.
Titans at Texans. I have taken the Titans.
Titans, yeah. They got embarrassed on national TV. They're going to.
Here's a fun one here. Raiders at Broncos. I have reluctantly taken the Raiders, but I have no idea what to expect here.
Wow. Yeah, give me the Broncos, I guess. Their defense, maybe.
So unsure there
because it's just the Raiders should blow them out, and they're just not good. I don't know. The Broncos are so Jekyll and Hyde.
Back for Khalil Mack. Just try and find a way to trade for Khalil Mack to get it back on the team. Chargers at Chiefs. At this point, I'm taking the Chiefs. I haven't seen anything that says that the Chiefs are benching their players, so I have to take the Chiefs.
Give me the Chargers.
Okay.
Go Chargers, go! I think the Chiefs are going to sit at least. I think they might come out and play one quarter, just to kind of stay loose. But I'm assuming that Tyreek Hill isn't going to go off for 200 yards receiving in the first quarter like he did a couple weeks ago. But I'm going to go Chargers. I think the Chargers are going to want to end on a high note, and the Chiefs don't really have much to play for. So,
all right, Packers at the Bears. I initially took the Bears, but after you just ridiculed them. I couldn't with like a good conscience take the Bears, so I switched to the Packers.
You got to go Packers. I mean, Devontae Adams is the best receiver in the league. amend my statement from last week. I know I said DeAndre Hopkins was. That has changed, and Pro Football Focus agrees with me and you, and I think that he's unstoppable. I don't know. It's just It seems like you should be able to stop him if you put enough guys on him, but he just keeps getting catches. And Aaron Rodgers
pressure on Rodgers. I was really impressed with their offensive line this past week. I know it's the Titans, so
I was impressed with their defensive line, actually. I mean, their whole defensive game plan to stop, arguably the hardest. I'm not thinking it's even arguable. I think he's the hardest. Derrick Henry's the hardest player to tackle in football on offense, and he
had 93 yards. It was really, I feel like they stopped Ryan Tannehill. He had 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions.
98 yards, but it took him like 14 carries or something.
Yeah.
And it's just, they were just loading up the box, and they were daring the Ryan Tannehill to beat them on the outside, and he couldn't.
He can't. Saints at Panthers.
Yep. Saints.
Yeah. Saints. I'm sorry, I didn't tell you. Saints, yeah.
Yeah.
And then my last one here. Washington football team at the Eagles. I am taking Washington. Now, before you make your pick, we are different on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games right now. So that if you get all 5 of those correct,
give me the Eagles.
Okay,
I'll take the Eagles. I think the Eagles. Jalen Hurts.
So we are different on 6 games.
I might change one of them.
Okay, so we're gonna go through right now. Okay,
yep.
So the differences. I have the Cowboys. You have the Giants.
I think I'm gonna switch that one. Give me the Cowboys. Okay. So now I have 5. I'm 5 differences.
You have 5 different ones.
Okay.
I have the Jets. You have the Patriots.
Yeah. Okay. Stick with that.
I have the Bills. You have the Dolphins. Now there might be other games that you want to switch. So Vikings, Lions, Browns, Steelers. I have the Browns.
I'll stick with it.
All right. I have the Raiders. You have the Broncos.
Yeah, I'm sticking with it.
I have the Chiefs. You have the Chargers.
No, absolutely sticking with that.
And I have Washington football team. You have the Eagles.
Yeah, give me the Eagles.
All right. I mean, looking at the other games, I don't envision.
You know what? I'm gonna switch. I'm gonna switch the. Who did the Giants? Who did the Giants play last week? Giants lost to. Oh, the Ravens. They got beaten down by the Ravens. Now I'm gonna keep it where it is. I'm just trying not to overthink it. I'm gonna stay where I am.
So I'm just gonna make sure I just confirm the count so that we know that there are 5 different.
Yep.
1, I have Jets. You have Patriots.
Yep.
2, I have Bills. You have Dolphins. 3, I have Raiders. You have Broncos. 4, I have Chiefs. You have Chargers. And 5, I have Washington. You have the Eagles.
Yep.
So if you win those 5 games, if you get those 5, you are the winner. So
if I win 4 or 5, we're tied up, and then
yep.
we have to resort to rock, paper, scissors. So
yep, exactly.
All right, awesome. Let's go. Week 17. I've never been more excited. You can follow us along all 17 weeks of the NFL season. We have covered on our various podcasts throughout the season. You can find those on the Amazon podcasting platform. You can find us on the iHeartRadio podcasting app. We're on Apple Podcasts. We're on Google Play. You can follow us along on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, all at the Benchwarmerz Podcast, at the BW Pod on Twitter, or you can even email us if you'd like, the Benchwarmerz Podcast at yahoo.com, Benchwarmers with a Z. I mean, you could also write Jose and myself some longhand letter if you'd like. I don't know if that's still in vogue, but I feel like it's maybe coming back. We would respond. We would write you back.
Absolutely.
But yeah, so very exciting week 17. Merry Christmas, Happy Festivus, whatever, all your happy holidays, Happy New Year. Yeah, we have we made it to the end of this year. Shockingly, we started off this show this year, so at least something good came out of this horrific 2020. So for Jose Ortiz, I'm Lou Ruggieri, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.